There's a major AI adoption crisis that literally no one is talking about. Whether you're an enterprise executive looking to implement AI into your business or an AI expert helping businesses implement the technology, you need to know about this silent problem that has the potential of ruining everything. Your entire investment, all of your efforts, all of the back and forth can literally be wasted and you won't even know who to blame. As an AI expert, I can tell you that I've dealt with this problem firsthand a couple of times. Having implemented AI into multiple large enterprises, I've seen time and time again how this one crucial factor will determine the success of the project. And what's crazy is that this is an internal factor from within your business that if you don't address correctly, you're going to be left chasing your own tail. And as a developer, if you don't communicate this problem up front and address it before building out the project, you're going to end up building out a very bad project that your client isn't happy about. And what's worse is that it's not even your fault. Now, just before I get into exactly what the problem is and how you can solve it, or even better, avoid it altogether, I need to first set the stage as to why this problem is happening and why it's super important. And to do that, I need to talk about something that I believe doesn't get talked about enough on the internet. Or when it does, it feels like everyone's giving some sort of BS answer just to cover their backs and make it sound like they're a really good person. I think the reality is that change is coming. AI is here and it's likely only going to get better in the future. Now, as someone that's worked in the industry for quite some time and have worked with multiple businesses, I can tell you that from an AI adoption standpoint, we're still very, very early. There's a lot of small, medium-sized and massive enterprise businesses that still think AI is just ChatGPT and Perplexity. And in the back of their mind, they know that they're going to be an AI first business in the future, but they haven't actually done anything to make sure that that's going to be the case. And so a lot of people are planning to use AI at some point, but haven't actually implemented it into their businesses as of yet. And also from a technological standpoint, what's going to be happening very soon as we have autonomous AI agents, or basically as we transition from using AI workflows, which are more deterministic rule-based automations, to then using AI agents, which are fully autonomous systems that can solve problems dynamically, we're going to see a lot more adoption inside businesses and the automation of a lot more tasks within businesses. And I believe that autonomous AI agents will be a reality within the next 6 to 12 months. And from an adoption standpoint, we'll probably be hitting some sort of mass adoption within the next 2 years. And so if you think about it from a business perspective, once we have these AI agents implemented into businesses, what's going to happen first is we're going to have AI augmentation, which is already happening with some early adopters, more using AI workflows. And AI augmentation basically just means that you'd have AI working alongside humans together in order to achieve objectives, because AI systems just aren't going to be that accurate yet and that consistent yet for you to be able to let them fully handle an employee's job. And realistically, let's say if an employee does 100 tasks, they might be able to do 50 of them, but the other 50 still they can't do. And so you would need employees inside each department of your business to work alongside the AI to, number one, make sure that it's working correctly, and number two, to also give it feedback and allow for it to improve over time. And so I fundamentally believe that the first step is going to be AI augmentation, which is more or so what everyone's been talking about, right? The idea of us working alongside AI, but now having a lot more productivity and being able to do a lot more things in a much smaller time frame. Now, that's the AI that we're all super excited for. But I believe that the reality is that once this technology gets good enough and it can fulfill a large enough number of tasks within a specific role, we definitely will have a lot of replacement. In AI augmentation, because AI is only allowing you to do things faster with a little bit more efficiency, but you still need people to work alongside it, you are going to get some replacement, but I don't believe it's going to be mass replacement. It's not like an entire 100-person department is suddenly going to turn into 2 people. I really don't think that's going to be the case. The 100-person department might turn into 70 people, and now these 70 people might also be focusing on certain things that are going to allow them to give more throughput that they couldn't do before. Like, for example, within businesses, you'd have your employees, if you're a customer-facing business, put more time into relationships with customers. Now, that's super valuable for a business. So I do believe that in the AI augmentation phase, it's going to be a smaller headcount reduction, and we're going to work a alongside AI for quite some time. But at some point, once we have AI agents that can do enough tasks and are good enough to actually fully autonomously perform those tasks, we are going to have mass replacement. And in this stage, I do believe that we're going to have entire departments within businesses that are going to be fully autonomous. Mark Zuckerberg, for example, recently did a talk, and inside his talk, what he was saying is that in the future, what's going to happen is a business is going to have all non-core departments automated. So for example, for a marketing agency, they will only have whatever fulfillment department that they have be not fully automated. But all the other side departments that isn't really a part of their core business, like for example, finance, HR, and yada, 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 will be automated, but their main core product is what they're going to be focusing on with their employees. And so I do fundamentally believe that in the future, we are going to have mass replacement, or maybe it's better to call displacement of jobs. Now, in terms of exactly when this is going to happen, I'm not 100% sure, and I don't really want to make any predictions, but I do believe that it's going to be sooner than you think. Now, it's probably important to mention that I do also believe that with these jobs that get replaced, new jobs will be created. Whether that's a 1-to-1 ratio of new jobs being created and old jobs being replaced, I'm not quite sure. I do think that there will be a lot more jobs replaced than created, but it's also very hard to tell right now. If you think about it, before computers were created, who would have thought there would be a concept of a software engineer or a software developer? All the businesses that currently sit on the internet probably made absolutely no sense before there was the concept of the internet. And I believe AI is going to be the same thing. There's just so many things that we haven't even thought about yet. And that's why it's very hard to put an exact name on what the jobs in the future are going to be. But I do believe that with this fundamental change, there will be new opportunities that will require for us to reconsider everything we know about how the world actually works. But the point of today's video isn't for me to go through what I think the future is going to look like. Maybe I'll make another video on that. So if you guys do want to hear about it, maybe put it in the description down below. But the idea that I want to convey in this slide is that we will eventually have mass replacement, and we will very soon have some replacement inside businesses. It's literally right around the corner. Now, the problem is what I would call resistance to change. The underlying factor that causes this resistance to change is asymmetric goals between different stakeholders inside a company. Now, if you think about it, in general, inside a business, the executives or whoever is, let's say, the owner or part of the executive team of that business wants that business to grow. They want to make more money. A lot of them have shares inside the business, and so their interests are directly tied into the growth of the actual business. Now, when it comes to implementing AI, they know that by implementing AI, they will increase efficiency, somehow save money or make more money, or somehow save time within their business. And so they know that it's going to grow their business. And so they're very keen on implementing AI. Now, on the other hand, an employee wants to keep their job, and they want to keep their job relevant. Why? Because just like any other human being, we go to work because we want to get paid, and then we use the money we made from work to buy other commodities and things inside our life that allow for us to survive. For 99% of people, they probably only go to work because they want to get money. If there was no concept of making money at work, I guarantee you 99% of people would just stay at home. It wouldn't make any sense. So an employee's interest lies within being able to make their wage or make their money. And they will be doing this by keeping their job and keeping their job relevant or important within that organization. Now, from an AI adoption standpoint, as I said, the executive wants to implement AI because they want to grow their business, but the employee wants to keep their job and keep their job relevant. So they're not necessarily the biggest supporter of implementing AI inside the business, which is completely fair. I fully get that perspective. And so generally there's this asymmetry between the employees within the business and the executives within the business when it comes to AI adoption. And at first thought, you might not think this is a super big deal, but it really is a massive deal. And I'll tell you exactly why. So when an executive team will hire an AI expert like me to come into their business and help them implement AI, I don't actually deal with the executive team all that much. They handle the business side of things, they handle the strategy side of things, they pay us, they decide what we should and shouldn't do, but it's actually actually the employees that help us implement that technology within their business. Because when you think about it, the employees are the people that deal with those SOPs or standard operating procedures, or basically just in simple terms, processes within that business every single day. They're the people that actually know how everything runs day by day within their department. And so as an AI expert, when you get hired to automate this SOP or build some sort of AI agent to be able to handle this SOP, you need to talk to the subject matter expert, which is generally the actual employees that work inside that department. Now, I hope by now you understand why this problem is super critical, because the executives expect you as the AI expert to come in and be able to automate this SOP to the best possible degree. But then in order to be able to automate this SOP, you have to go talk to an employee, but the employee doesn't actually want to really help you, because they know if they do help you, what are they actually doing? They're just losing their wage. They're not going to get paid anymore. They're not going to have a job, or their job is just not going to be as relevant inside their company tomorrow. And so generally what I've experienced is employees to some degree try to sabotage the project. They don't answer you for long periods. They're not very helpful in their answers. They on purpose sometimes don't tell you the full bigger picture. And so as an AI expert, it ends up being really hard for you to do a good job when you're automating that SOP. And the bad thing from the perspective of us that are AI experts again, is that the executive team is going to assess whether it's a good automation or a bad automation from our perspective. If it's good, we're going to get a thumbs up. If it's bad, we're going to get a thumbs down. But the actual employees within that business are the people that are making it very hard to implement the AI. And so you're kind of stuck in this catch-22 situation where you don't really know what to do. Now, whether you've dealt with this problem before or it's the first time you're hearing or thinking about it, I can tell you that it's a very, very important and delicate problem. And if it's not addressed up front before actually getting into building out the project, I can guarantee that you're not going to get very good results, and the project is going to take a lot longer and it's going to cost a lot more than it actually should have. And so over the next couple of slides, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can avoid this problem altogether, or at least minimize the risk of having to deal with it. Now, when you're building out any project, what you should always do is, number one, dedicate an internal project manager. Someone that it's actually their responsibility to make sure that this project goes over the line, that sits internally within your company. Now, this is probably more relevant for, as I said, enterprises. If you're a small business and you've only got 2 or 3 people, it's unlikely you'd have to deal with this problem altogether. But for bigger enterprises, this problem is super critical. And the first thing you should do, as I just said, is dedicate an internal project manager, which is internally responsible for that automation. So obviously, let's say if you hire an AI team and this is your company, you shouldn't see the responsibility of this project going over the line just from your AI team. You should dedicate at least one team member internally that's kind of augmented with this AI team, where it's their responsibility also to make sure that this project goes over the line. And it shouldn't be something that's just a side task for them. It shouldn't be that you have a certain employee inside your business and then you suddenly send them an email, you're like, hey, we're building out this AI project and we would like for you to do these additional things to the things that you're already doing. No, don't do that, because then it's going to feel like additional work and they're not actually going to take responsibility for that project. Instead, what you should always do is dedicate one person where a big portion of their role over the next 1 month, 3 weeks, however long the project's going to go for, is making sure that this project goes over the line and working alongside with the AI experts themselves. And this person, or if it's going to be multiple people within a department, have to be well incentivized to want to help the business implement AI. And from an incentivization perspective, what I mean is you should give them bonuses, or at least make sure they have some sort of financial incentive or some sort of growth incentive within the business to ensure that they are truly aligned with the goal of the executives. The idea should be that if we win, which is the executive team or the owners or whatever, then you win. So fundamentally, as long as you do just these 2 things, it's very, very unlikely you're going to have to deal with this problem at all. So as long as you dedicate some sort of internal project manager and you incentivize the employees that you've decided are going to be directly related to this project, then I can almost guarantee that the AI expert is going to have a breeze trying to go back and forth with your team, and the project that you end up building is going to be a lot quicker and a lot better. And from a business perspective, this might seem like you're spending extra dollars up front, but it's really important because if you can get this AI thing right, you're going to make not only your money back, but you're also going to get a massive ROI, which will only keep growing over time. And so your perspective should be that I'm happy to spend a little bit more money, or at least dedicate some more internal resources up front to ensure that the final product is going to be much, much better. Now, the other two solutions that I believe are also effective and I've seen implemented into businesses that we work with are these two. First and foremost, I've seen some businesses now wanting to implement internal AI automation teams. And I do strongly believe that in the future, as we progress, we're going to progress to having internal AI automation departments, just like how we have marketing departments. Because realistically, marketing is just another department inside your business that does a specific thing, brings clients in. AI automation is going to be another department inside your business that does a specific thing, and that thing is ensuring that you can automate your processes and have your AI agents or whatever working properly. And so, as I said, I believe in the future we're going to have internal AI automation teams that actually handle the AI automation for a specific enterprise. Now, this is obviously not going to happen for smaller businesses, but I would say a vast majority of businesses, let's say more than 50 headcount, will at some point have an internal AI automation team. Now, what you guys can do if you're an enterprise and you want to implement multiple AI automation solutions is you can repurpose your current employees and get them to join your AI automation team. Because realistically, at this very stage, we have AI workflows, which are really not that hard to build, and you can build them on N8N and other low-code, no-code platforms. So realistically, your current employees can learn how to build out AI automations pretty quickly. So you can build out an internal team of AI automation experts that are your actual team members that might currently be sitting in other fields within your business. And because these people understand your business's SOPs very well and also have existing relationships with the other team members, they will actually show to be very valuable. And from an employee morale perspective, when they know that there is actually opportunity for them to be part of this change as opposed to just get replaced by this change, it really, really helps. And so I'm a big believer in building out internal AI automation team members and training your current team members to be more AI first. So once we're inside that AI augmentation period, there will be much, much more useful, and you wouldn't really want to replace them. Now, the second one, which I believe will hit some sort of limit at some point, is being able to reallocate your team members, or at least repurpose the work that your team members do. And it sounds similar to the first one, but it's really not. What I'm trying to get at here is, as a business, you shouldn't only be thinking, okay, well, if we can let off 80 people and each of them get paid $1,000 a week, that's $80,000 a week we're saving. That's the real value of AI. Well, although that is part of the value of AI, how I believe enterprises and businesses should be approaching AI is, okay, if we can reduce 80 people or we can free up the jobs of 80 people, how can we either put these people inside different positions inside the business or get these people to focus more on the things that can really help grow the business that they otherwise couldn't have. And an example of this is being able to communicate more with customers, putting more time to build real customer relationships, because I do believe that in an automated world in the future, what will always not be automated is any job that requires deep emotional connection between two humans, like sales or even parts of customer support. Those things are what will actually grow your business because you're building out relationships with people that are actually paying you. And so if you can build better relationships and spend more time to focus on your customers and give them exactly what they want and the care they deserve, then it's likely that you're going to be increasing your business returns more than just 80K, which is the replacement of your employees. So the idea here is to be able to repurpose the work your employees do to get them to focus on things that they otherwise couldn't. And the reason why I say this will at some point hit a limit is because realistically, how much work can you get people to do differently from what they're doing now? You'd probably hit some sort sort of roof, and after that roof, you'd probably want to let go a couple of staff members to get the full benefit of AI. But your goal shouldn't just be, let's just remove everyone right away. And so the two ideas in this page is to technically just get the people that you currently have inside your business and either get them to become AI first specialists, which will be really valuable to your business internally, or get them to focus on things that they otherwise couldn't have, which will probably bring you more returns than you would have otherwise gotten by just replacing them. And so the first two solutions, which I really believe are the core ones, and the next two, which I believe are more long-term ones that are quite effective as well, will definitely ensure that you will be dealing with less complexity and less problems as you're transitioning into an AI first business. Because every business is going to have to transform with AI, and that transformation could either have a lot of friction and be really hard, or it could be a breeze. And ideally, all of us want it to be a breeze. And within your company, your employees are probably the most important assets of your business. And so you want your employees to be on board with the transformation as opposed to all resisting and giving you more friction than you actually need. Now, I want to quickly talk about something that I think is really important and I kind of touched on before. And that's the idea of how, as an employee, you can ensure that you will have a part of the market tomorrow and your job and your skills and expertise will be relevant in a world where we're augmented with AI or even replaced by AI. And I'm sure you guys have guessed what it is, but that's to learn the technology. As I said, the tech is here. And realistically, none of us can take time back and we can't just stop OpenAI and Google and all their competitors to no longer invest more in the technology. So realistically, we're here. And it's probably only going to get bigger and bigger over time as we adopt it more and the technology also becomes better. So as a person that is a subject matter expert or a domain expert in a certain field, for example, you might be a lawyer or an accountant or some sort of finance guy or a marketing SEO person or whatever you do, you have expertise in a certain subject or a certain niche or a certain vertical within a business. Now, in the progression of AI, as I said, I believe the first step will be AI augmentation, and then it will be full AI replacement. Now, with the AI replacement side, I do believe that there's going to be new jobs that are going to be created. So it's very hard to predict what the world is going to look like in that time. So I'm not really going to get into it right now. But with the AI augmentation phase, what you can do is you can learn the AI technology and become a much more valuable asset to your company because you know the tech very well. Because if you think about it, in an AI augmented world, we need subject matter experts to, number one, help build the tech, number two, oversee the tech, and number three, maintain the tech. So if you're someone that has a very niche set of skills, if you add AI to your skill set, then in the future, as we become AI augmented, you will be the person that they will keep within the company to oversee the AI and make sure that it runs properly. You will be the person that will own that technology within the company. And I guarantee you that even if you are in a really big company and they end up firing you, you will be very valuable to another company that needs someone with subject matter expertise that can help implement this technology. So it's super important that you learn AI right away. Invest your time into actually learning the tech, learning what it's about, demystifying all the BS that's actually around it, and understanding what sort of use cases it can have in your daily life and within your specific vertical inside your business. And I can guarantee you that it's really not that hard to learn and understand AI. AI itself, I mean, it's been around for a very long time, since the 1950s, I believe, but generative AI and this newer wave of ChatGPT and GPT-4o, GPT-03 and all this sort of stuff has only been around for so long. So we're all kind of learning and adapting to it together. Even the biggest subject matter experts, now I'm not talking about the people that actually build the foundation model, I'm talking about people that actually implement this technology into businesses, have only been playing around with it for a couple of years maximum. And so if you were to invest some time into learning the technology, you would still be considered a first mover. And in tomorrow's landscape, once we have these AI augmented businesses, you're going to be very valuable to any company. And not only you wouldn't get paid less, you would actually get paid more, and your job would be much more secure than it is today. And so I would urge anyone with any subject matter expertise to go and invest in learning the tech, understanding what it's about, and learning how they can work alongside it. Now, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you have some sort of domain or subject matter expertise, then you are in a massive golden opportunity today. Because we're still very early with AI adoption for enterprises and businesses, and there still hasn't been a lot of startups that have been super successful with AI. And there's been almost no vertical implementation of AI within different industries. And so that creates a massive opportunity for new players to come in the market, build out some sort of AI product for a specific vertical that they understand very well, and make a business that could be hundreds of billions of dollars in valuation within just a couple of years. And that's something that I wish I had. If I was a subject matter expert in one specific thing where I understood it back to front better than anyone else and it wasn't AI, I would go straight away, build some sort of startup to solve some sort of problem within that niche, and then try and sell it to everyone and grow a very big company. Because understanding the problems is much more important than having the technological background to go and build the solution. Because you can always go and learn a solution or learn the tech, but it's very hard to learn the problem without having actually experienced it yourself. And so if you are an entrepreneur or you've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, you know that a problem exists and you have subject matter expertise in that problem, then invest in learning the technology and try and solve that problem and build a business around it. You won't regret it tomorrow. And so that brings us to the end of yet another video. And this one was a quicker one, but it was something that I'm super passionate about because, as I said, it's a problem that's very real. And a lot of businesses, as we move along the AI adoption lifecycle or more people adopt the technology, are going to experience this problem. So it's super important for you to plan up front before you actually transform your business with AI. And for those of you who don't actually run a business and just want to make sure that in tomorrow's day and age, you're going to be safe and secure and you're going to have a lot of success, then go and invest in learning AI right away. If you guys are interested in learning about AI, I've got a free community where I teach everyone about AI and automation, and there's a structured course and there's a whole bunch of resources. So as I said, it's completely free. It's a good place to start. So if you guys are keen on learning, feel free to jump in the community. I'm going to put the link for it in the description down below. And so I hope you guys found this video valuable. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.